Good. So recording has been started and I can see 4 students have joined online. Let me share my screen. Let's move ahead. We'll give you the brief idea about what can be there in the mixed semester examination. You people are little stuck because randomly we have done so many concepts. Some people might be stuck little bit in the flow as well. So what is expected from you in this mid-semester examination is please make it sure that you are aware about all the formulas of annuities as well as the single cash flows and the differential cash flows. Number two is the applications of perpetuity in business valuation and in the share valuation. We have solved, I guess, 2 to 3 sums based on that. Now that those sums are not been shared with you in a material, but I'll make sure that that will be done by end of the day today. For time value of money, we have got the material sent by Mr. Mohammed, right? Over there you can find so many practice questions. You are not supposed to do anything of I mean that is also too much comprehensive. You will not be able to solve that too. There are around hundreds of questions in each chapter. You are not supposed to solve every. Just go through the variety that we have done, and similar kind of a variety you will be doing over there, right? We have covered up the variety up to the great extent. Do not worry. But there are certain other complicated calculations as well. We are not supposed to go into those. Only the variety that we have done. And as far as these options are concerned, no, just have a bit of clarity about the conceptual aspects because we haven't started the practicals yet. And I don't know up to 9th of March how many lectures I'll be getting more. So whether we'll be able to complete this practicals and the option Greeks, that's difficult to convey right now because it will be taking at least option premium will be taking 2 more lectures and the Greeks will be taking 3 to 4 lectures more. So I don't think we'll be able to complete it before the mid-semester examination. Just have the conceptual clarity about the options. I received one question from here. What's that? What about the range of definitions? Now see, please, the weightage of the theoretical things can be somewhere around 25 to 30% because from this mid-semester examination, the pattern has been followed that it is taking the questions automatically from the system. We have put the question bank into the system and it will be automatically fetching the questions from the system. So nowadays, it's no more in the hand of the faculty member to select the question and to give you in the examination. So there can be a weight of good amount of weight of theoretical questions as well. Because in the question bank, we are supposed to put those two, right? And how the system will be fetching, I don't know. It can be a very random kind of selection. So around 30%. So what kind of a questions can be there in the theory? Say you're supposed to explain about how the money is losing the spine over a period of time. So entire application of the time value of money can be there. All the types of annuity, explain all the types of annuity along with the help of formula. Can be a theoretical question. Explain the concept of real interest and the nominal interest from the perspective of inflation. Theoretical question. Explain the concept of effective interest and the nominal interest. And that is from the perspective of the compounding frequency. Can be a theory question. Now I'll list out all those questions. The problem was since last few weeks, I was occupied in one of the workshops. So that's why I couldn't send you the question bank. But by end of the day, I think I'll be able to do it. So I'll list out all those questions which can be asked in the theory and we'll circulate those with you. Fine. Is it clear about the mid-semester examination? And 1 mark and this MCQ that तो you'll be aware about. उसमें तो क्या कुछ बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है. Okay, all the online students, are you clear about this? Is it clear? Good, thank you. Let's move ahead. I guess we were there into the calculation of the premium last time around. We were there into the call option. And my dear friends, the call option premium can be calculated by the various model. One of the very famous model is the Black and Scholes model, specifically used when there are European Kinda options. Some people would be like, sir, what is the European option? European options are those options which can be exercised only on the expiry date, not before that. American options are those options which can be exercised even before the expiry date. When I say exercise, that means he is enforcing his right to buy and right to sell if it is a put option. When you start imposing your right, enforcing your right to sell or to buy even before the expiry, that becomes the American option. But if you can do it only on the date of expiry, it becomes European option. Is it clear? So if I have sold one option to Miss Avni, that means I am the person who is seller of the option. Avni is buyer of the option. Say Avni has bought call option from me, and the expiry date of that option is say 25th of March. Now, here in the options we see in India are generally the European type options. Earlier when they started, no, they had allowed the before expiry date options as well, but nowadays it's just European kinda options we see in the market. Avni will not be able to enforce her right before 25th of March. That does not mean that you are stuck in that. You can get whatever the amount of premium again back by selling that particular option at the premium in the market. That's a different kind of thing, but you cannot exercise your option that I want to purchase this share right now. You cannot say that before the expiry. Is it clear? Good. So let me just open it. Excel is taking some time. Have patience. Okay. Black and Scholes, I guess we were there into this. I guess we have already completed the formula of the call option. Let me just give you the brief idea about the formula we had done. It's very simple to understand. I told you that any value of option will be dependent on the strike price and its current market price. So if you have bought, say, the call option, my dear friends, basically, if in a layman language, if you try to understand, Ms. Dara, that's very simple to understand. Say, uh, right now the price is 415 and you have bought the option to buy it at 400. So in a layman language, it is the 15 rupees at which you are at profit. Because see, you have bought the right to buy it at 400 and right now the current market price is 415. That means if you enforce your right now, you will be able to buy it only at the 400. So 15 rupees of profit you will be able to make, yes or no? So that means you are in the profit of 15 rupees. So that should be the value of option. So it's nothing but the spot price minus strike price. Now here in this case, few other observations also take place. No, few other things also takes place. Because see, you cannot just put the strike price and spot price as it is. That's what we have done. We have taken the S as the spot price in this case and X as the strike price. And we have put the minus in between. The problem is that what's the probability of this prices? What's the probability the strike price will remain on that strike price only? So that probability can be found by this n divided by derivative 1. That's nothing but the multiplication with the probability. For that, we will be using the Z table. I hope you have got the exposure of the Z table in previous some of the subjects of yours, if I'm not wrong, which is the probability distribution table, density table as well, people call it, Okay, we'll be using that. Now that probability will be there for the strike price as well, no? So we have multiplied with the strike price as well over here. Check it out. But sir, strike price is something which will be there in the future. Because strike price is something you have entered into a contract at that strike price for the future date, right? And if it is there for the future date, Ms. Avni, that means you will have to find the time value as well, because we want to find the value of option right now. So you multiply that with the time value of money, the discounting factor, to make it a present value. Yes or no? Now, what can be the discounting factor? If this could have been the simple cash flow, single cash flow, you would have multiplied that with the single discounting factor. The single discounting factor looks like 1 divided by 1 plus r s to n. But the problem is, here in this case, this n is not fixed. Number of periods for the compounding are infinite. Do you know that how many number of times these options will be traded during this expiry? Number of times are you aware about? So it's the continuous compounding. So that's why instead of this, we would be using the continuous compounding discounting factor. And the continuous compounding discounting factor is 1 divided by e raised to RT. And 1 divided by e raised to RT can also be written like e minus RT. So that's what there in the formula itself. No, you may check it. See, that's what there. We have multiplied the exercise price with e raised to minus RT. That is nothing but 1 divided by e raised to RT. That is nothing but the discounting factor. And that's why you get the present value. Is it clear? Shall I start solving the sum now? And that we have done only for the strike price, not for the spot price, because spot price is there in the present only. आज की मार्केट डेट तो ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट वैल्यू ही है सर, उसमें प्रेजेंट वैल्यू फाइंड करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Yes or no? Let's move ahead. So let's start solving the question so that we'll be able to get it in a better way. Now D1 stands for the derivative 1, D2 stands for the derivative 2. Now that will be calculated in order to find the probability of what will be the strike price and the probability of what will be the spot price. Now D1, you take the natural logarithm and in bracket you put s minus x, so that is spot minus strike. Now natural logarithm can be solved very easily, do not get confused. ये दिखावे में बड़ा बड़ा है, इतना कुछ है नहीं. Plus r plus v square. V is nothing but the volatility. So in this case, the volatility is going to be the standard deviation of the underlying security. Standard deviation is the measurement of the volatility, right? Now that matters, no, because your option price can go anywhere if the volatility is too high. Option becomes absolutely too much risky if the volatility of the underlying security is too high. That's why, my dear friends, we should also take the volatility into account. So that's why we have taken the standard deviation square. It is nothing but the variance divided by 2. Standard deviation square is the variance. Variance का square root is the standard deviation. उल्टे कान पकड़वाया. Divided by v multiplied by square root of t. T stands for the time left in the expiry. T stands for the time left in expiry. Okay, so let's start solving the sum now. We would be reading it. Good. So let's start reading the first one. The shares of TIC Limited are currently priced at 415 and call option exercisable in 3 months time has an exercise rate of 400. So current price is how much? Spot price 415. Exercise price is 400. Easy to understand. Risk-free interest rate is 5%, which is going to be my R, rate of return, which also matters. Now, rate of return is something which is there available in the market at the risk-free rate. See, why anyone would be making the investment in the options, first of all. If person is able to get 5 or 6% risk-free somewhere outside the stock options, why he would come to the stock options? Because it's all about the opportunity, right? Without taking any risk, without taking this volatility risk, without putting yourself into uncomfortable situation, if you are able to earn 5 to 6%, why you will be taking the risk? So the risk free rate at which we should do the discounting, because that is something which is the opportunity cost for us. That is the opportunity we are missing because we are putting ourselves into the options. That is something which is the required rate of us at which we should do the discounting. I hope that's clear to you. And risk-free rate is also a thing which will affect our value of option. Higher the risk-free rate, lower will be the value. Because when you have the higher expectations from something, the present value would be less. Because you want that to grow, right? Higher the discounting rate, present value is less. Yes or no? That's what we have seen till now. If you put 15 and then 20%, the present value will go down further. Now, why we have taken the risk-free rate in this case? Because we want to know that this should be the at least expectations from the options. the least expectations from the options. That percentage of a return I can get from anywhere. Okay, so that's gonna be my R. Standard deviation volatility is given to us 22 percentages. Based on the assumption that TIC Limited is not going to declare any dividend over the next 3 months, is the option worth buying at 25? One more thing you'll have to take into account is we assume that the company will not pay the dividend in this expiry date, because when the company will pay the dividend, no, the stock price may fluctuate either at the positive side or at the negative side. Generally, it's been observed that after making the payment of dividends, the stock price goes down because your fundamentals goes down. No, say if you are giving the dividend of 10 lakhs rupees to your shareholders, your cash balance reduces, your reserves reduces. Once your reserves reduces, fundamentally you become little weaker on balance sheet. That's why you may see that in the market price as well, there would be a bit of the slump once the dividend is declared. That has been the relationship we have established. How to value the option? So we are supposed to tell that whether it is to be bought at 25 or not. If our value comes at 22, that means it is undervalued. It is overvalued at 25. We should not buy it. If our value comes at 28, that means it is undervalued at 25. We should buy it. Is it clear? Good. Let's move ahead. So we would just be writing the formulas here. You may take a snap of the question. अपन धीरे धीरे हड़ू हड़ू सोल्व करेंगे, कोई उतावल नहीं है. 1 minute please. ये नोटेशंस इतने बढ़ जाते हैं ना, फिर मेरे को रिमूव करने में तकलीफ होती है. देखो ये एक एक को करना पड़ता है फिर. Whether the screen sharing has been done? No, हाँ, yes, good. Otherwise people would be like screen share तो हुआ ही नहीं है. Okay, so let's put as it is whatever we have in the formula. First one is the strike price. So what's the strike price? Sorry, spot price. What's the spot price in this case? 415. And then we would be requiring the n in bracket d1, right? N is nothing but the probability. We'll see that, don't worry. Then it comes the strike price, which is going to be 400. So I'm just putting 400 over here, which is my x. Then it comes to e raised to rt in minus. So I can write it in multiplication 1 divided by e raised to rt, right? Can someone tell me what's the value of e? 2.718. 2.718, which is an approximate value. I had told you that how we have derived this value as well, right? By applying that infinity rule. So if you apply this, no, 1 plus 1 divided by n factorial, you get the value of this exponential factor. So 1 plus 1 divided by n factorial. So n factorial matlab ki number of the number in the series will get increased, you know. So first you take the 2 factorial, then you take the 3 factorial, then you take the 4 factorial. So factorial माने कि if it is a 4 factorial, that means 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. So after some time, this will become so less, so small, so small, so small that the total value of this entire infinity will come at around 2.718. Raised to RT. R stands for the rate of return. What is the rate of return? Can someone tell me? Okay, question. 5%. Now 5% is per annum. Yes or no? And our option will be expired in how many number of months? 3. So we need to find it monthly, no? 5% is for the entire year, for the 12 months. For the 3 months, what do we have the rate? Can someone tell me? 5% divided by 4. Yes or no? And 5% divided by 4 comes at around 1.25%. So 1.25% can also be written like 0.0125 multiplied by T. T stands for the time. Can someone tell me what's going to be the time? Okay. Now see, you will have to put the time in a yearly, what do I call the numerical notation. So 1 year comes 1, right? So 3 months would be 0.25. So 1 divided by 4, so 0.25 would be the time period. So I'm right putting over there 0.25. And then again you have n, and then you have the d2, which is going to be the derivative 2 for the which price? Strike price. Okay, so let's find the derivative 1 now. The formula is simple. Just put everything we have in the formula. So first you have the natural logarithm. Absolutely, there is no need to get confused about this. Natural logarithm is very easy to find. So I'm just putting in, and then spot divided by x. Standard deviation is how much? 22, I guess. So I can write it at 0.22 square divided by 2. Then after we have again the t. What is the t? 0.25. T must be there in the numerical connotation of year. So if you have 5 months, you will be making the decimals proportionately. So I'm multiplying that with the 0.25 because expiry is 3 months, right? And if the expiry is 3 months, that means it's a quarter. If 1 is for the year, then for quarter you have 0.25. Do we have anything in the denominator? Yes, sir, we have something. So that's nothing but V. So 0.22 multiplied by T. So what's going to be the T? 0.25, and it must be there in the square root. Let's just solve this out and we'll be able to get the D1 over there. So natural logarithm of 415 and 400. So what's the point coming over there? 1.0375. Good. So plus, now the next one is entirely numerical in nature, can be simplified further, right? Just give me the value of this. So first you will do the square of 0.22, then you will divide it by 2, then you will add it to 0.125, and then you will multiply that with the 0.25. Okay, others may verify this. What's the square you are getting? First of all, let me know that. Let me do that only. 0.0125 plus 0.22 square. 0.0484. ये 0 है. Divided by 2. And this whole needs to be multiplied by 0.25. हड़ू हड़ू जाते हैं, धीरे धीरे, अपन को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. 0.22 multiplied by, in square root you have 0.25. then you move forward. मैं नेचुरल लोगरिथम लेता हूं, उससे पहले ये बाजू वाला सिंप्लीफाई कर लेते हैं. 1.03575 equal plus, now divide that 0.0484 by 2. 0.0125. Again 0.0125.
242.
हाँ वही ना, 0.0242. Okay, that must be multiplied by 0.25. कुछ लोग बैठे बैठे सो रहे हैं, सर भी खड़े खड़े सो रहे हैं. 0.22 मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 0.25, इसको 0.25 उसका स्क्वायर रूट कर लेते ना, तो नीचे वाला सॉर्ट आउट हो जाएगी, उसको कैरी फॉरवर्ड करना है। कई भी जोश जोश में टूट जाता है, एक बार मैंने ऐसे तोड़ दिया तो टूट गया है। डोंट यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस? ओके, square root of 0.25 multiplied with 0.22, मैं तो करने वाला ही नहीं हूं, मैंने नौकरी करके रखा, हर बार मैं ही क्यों करूं, मैं प्रोफेसर हूं। पॉइंट
0.11. 11.
0.11, गुड। उसके बाद में कोई डिजिट नहीं है ना, 1 1 खत्म हो जाता है। ओके, अब ये वाले ब्रैकेट को थोड़ा सा सिंप्लीफाई कर दो, फिर नेचुरल लॉगरिथम लेते हैं। जीरो पॉइंट गुड। Okay, now how can you find the natural logarithm? That's very easy. See, whatever is there in the value, no, the logarithm value we see, no, that is log to the base 10. Now, we'll be finding the log to the base 10 only. But when it comes to the natural logarithm, whatever the value of log to the base 10 you get, no, you will be dividing again by the log of exponential. That's why it's a natural logarithm. So this is how it looks like. Say, log of 1.0375 divided by the log of exponential, as simple as this. So that's the natural logarithm of 1.0375. Whenever you have a question where the natural logarithm is to be found, which is starts with the sign of in, you know, ln, sorry. Now in ln 1.035, matlab ki first you will be taking the log of 1.0375 to the base 10. That will be finding from the logarithm table, because logarithm table by default gives us log to the base 10. That's why that is to be divided by the log of exponential. Exponential as well we see, and that will also be the log to the base 10. Good. So how do we get it? Just find it out. 0.009175, and that whole will be divided by 0.11. Now log of 1.0375, I'm going to the log table. अब ये है ना, log दे देते हैं क्वेश्चंस में, लेकिन मैं अपन को आता है तो हम क्यों ले, वो क्वांटिटेटिव फाइनेंस है यार, वो भी एमबीए 4th लेवल का। 11वीं 12वीं बच्चे होते तो मैं लोग दे देता उधर। सीए के एग्जामिनेशन में मैंने देखा नेचुरल लॉगरिथम का वैल्यू दे दिया उन लोगों ने नीचे। क्या हो गया ये, मैं बोला सीए वाला ऐसा कर रहा है। ओके, और ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या टेस्ट करते हैं मालूम है, कि वो एक्सपोनेंशियल का वैल्यू दे देते 0.4343। हम सब फाइंड करेंगे, मालूम है फिर भी फाइंड 0.4343 मेरे को मालूम है फिर भी करना है फाइंड। देखो टीचिंग में दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंस, यू नो एवरीथिंग, स्टिल यू डू इट। We have material, and then there is a log table. Just let me get the log table here. You will also be finding your log tables. Okay, so first we are supposed to find the log of 1.0375. So how do you find it? 10 में 3 का value, 7 का min difference will be added, right? So 10 में 3 का value, which comes at 0, 1, 2, 8. I am putting some marking there. And sir, in that value, 7 ka min difference will be added, which is 29. So if you add 29 in 10128, it comes around 0157. Okay, so 0157 will be there. Now here the people will be making the mistake when it comes to pull the decimals. So before point we have 1. So you reduce 1 from 1. So your answer should start with 0. Now whatever the 0 is already given, उसके साथ छेड़छानी नहीं करनी है, नया वाला 0 ऐड करना है. लोग फिर वहां से 0.157 कर देते हैं. नहीं, 1 minus 1, that means your answer should start with 0 point. So whatever the 4 digits you have got, no, keep it as it is, put again a different 0. So 0.0157. Clear? Plus you have 0.09175 to be divided by 0.1 0.00. ओके, देखो इधर गलती कर लेते तो अपना पूरा क्वेश्चन गलत जाता. इक्वल टू, oh, exponential log is about to be taken. Oh my god, I have taken the direct value. Sorry, very good. So 0.01, just give me 1 second, 1 second. ऐसा नहीं है कि पूरा डिलीट नहीं होता, होता है, ठीक है ना, आलस आती है वहां पे जाके. क्या वैल्यू आया था अपने पास? 0.157. Okay, and the log of exponential, which is the log of 2.718. So that comes 4.4343. You can find it. Log of 2.718. So 27 में 1, 8 का वैल्यू ऐड करना है. Let's check it out. 27 में 1, so 4343 here. और उसमें किसका मेन डिफरेंस ऐड करना है? 8 का. So 8 का मेन डिफरेंस is 13. So if you add 13 in 4330, it comes 4343. So here you get the answer 0.4343. Plus you have something over here 0.009175, and that is to be divided entirely by 0.11. So what do you get at the first part of the numerator here?
Zero point 04532.
अच्छा, 4532 आ रहा है. जिंगल का तुम लोग का क्या? 0.03615. हाँ राइट, कोई बात नहीं, उसका फाइनल आंसर क्या होगा, कोई बात नहीं. प्लस 0.009175, 0.11. न्यूमरेटर 0.04533 to be divided by 0.11. What do you get? 4120. Is everyone getting the same? Just check it out.
Yes, sir.
Very surely.
Yes.
Good. So what we have found the D1. Huh? This is the formula of the D1. And before the D1, there is again N. So we'll have to find the probability of the D1. So that's why it's N multiplied over there. Normal distribution probability. That's why there is N. उसमें अभी नहीं जाना है, अभी इतना आप लिख सकते हैं D1 equal to. Now let's find the D2. So how can we find the D2? That's very simple, easy to understand. See, कहाँ है? D1 minus volatility in multiplied by square root of T. So D1 minus volatility square root of T. So what do you get as a D1? 0.4120 minus volatility. What do you get? 0.22 આવે ને. Volatility is the standard deviation. 0.22 will be there, no? And in bracket you have the T. T stands for the time. One. એ હા, એ કરી શક્યા નહીં પણ આ તો શું છે, ફરીથી પાછું થઈ જાય. 0.1 પછી મારે બધાને એક્સપ્લેન કરવું પડશે, જો ઉપર કર્યું તું એટલા માટે. और थोड़ा सा मैथमेटिकल प्रैक्टिस हो जाए तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. 0.25. Now we have already found this value, huh? So no need to do it again, as Yogeshwari has stated. I guess that was 0.11. So 0.4120 minus 0.11. What do you get there?
302.
0.302.
2.
Just like that. Okay, so that's what the D2 is. Now, sir, what is supposed to be taken? Now there has to be the there has to be the normal distribution probability to be found for the D1 and D2. Easy to do not worry. Then the first is D1, then it comes the D2. So how do you find for the D1 first of all? So I'm writing it over here in N in bracket, I would be requiring 0.4120. Now what's this? Try to understand. Here, you try to find that what's the probability in the standard normal distribution table of this value. So what value we have got? The value we have got over here, no? That tells you about, the standard deviation, including the present value of this particular variance of this entire option that we are going to observe for this. Do not go too much into the technical aspects as of now. You'll have to just go to the Z table. I guess you people might not be having the Z table as of now. Let me just give that to you. Z table है आपके पास? नहीं है? Do I have the Z table right now? Just check me. Z table, I have it. Good. I'm just sending it to you in the WhatsApp. So everyone, please go to the WhatsApp. I'm sending you the Z table over there in the WhatsApp, please. What's the time for the next lecture? Free, huh? Okay, good. QF. I have at 9:50. Fine, no worries. I guess before that we'll be able to do it. Okay, you may just go to your group of QF over there. I guess I've shared it. Is it there? Okay. Now go over there and go to the 0.41 standard deviation left hand side in the Z table. This is how it would be looking like. So sir 0.4 है उधर और तो कुछ नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है, तो 0.4 दिखाई दे रहा है कि नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है कि नहीं? 0.4 है ना, उसमें 1 की वैल्यू मिल जाएगी अपने को. कैसे मिलेगी 1 की वैल्यू? Because this table starts with the 0, we would be finding it for 0.01. So I guess we'll be getting it for 0.41. So we'll be getting the value for the 0.41. Where do we have the value? I guess this is the value, 0.34090. Just a second. 0.34090, right? That is the value of 0.41. So I'm writing it over there, but we are supposed to find it for 0.4120. We'll have to apply some interpolation over there. Let me just write the value, whatever I got, 34090. Now here the problem is, sir, this is the value of 0.41 and we are supposed to find it for 0.4120. Now after 0.41, what do you have? 0.42. If we get the value of the 0.42, then we will be able to interpolate. We will be able to apply the cross multiplication for the additional value we require. No, just find it for 0.2 as well. So this is for 0.41. So I am using n 0.42. 42 का वैल्यू फाइंड करो, क्या आता है? 0.33724. Good. Now you have got it for 0.41. You have got it for 0.42. The difference which is remaining, no, that you will have to interpolate. So ये कैसी बात हो गई कि आपके पास 11 का है, आपको 11.2 का फाइंड करना है. एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ, 11 का है, आपके पास 12 का है, तो 0.2 का फाइंड कर सकते हो कि नहीं कर सकते हो? डिफरेंस पहले तुम क्या करोगे कि तुम 11 से 12 पे जाते हो तो कितना डिफरेंस आता है, तो फिर सर मैं 0.2 जाऊंगा तो कितना डिफरेंस आएगा. So this is how we'll be applying it. But I guess the time is lacking right now. I need to go at the 9:50 lecture as well. We'll have to do it the interpolation for the second value we have got for the D2 as well. So let's do it in the next lecture only. We are putting it over here on the hold. Is it clear? I have just clarified you the interpolation. Again, giving you the example. Say if you have some value for 11 and some value for 12, then what do you find? And if you want to find the value for the 11.2, then you first find what is the difference between the 11th value and the 12th value, and accordingly you will proportionately apply that what is the value for it, 0.2, and that you will add in the value of 11. That we'll see later on in the next session. Do not worry. Okay, so that's it. We have found the D1 and D2. In the next session we will find the value of option. Okay, as a mark of your attendance, please put your enrollment number over there in the chat box, and that's it from my side for the lecture. Please do not forget to put your enrollment number there, everyone. And here, how many are present? Tara, have you opted for the QF? No, no. Okay. I guess Avni and Yogeshwari. इसमें वैल्यू दे देते तो बड़ा नहीं होता. नेचुरल लॉग की वैल्यू दे दो, नीचे वाले की वैल्यू दे दो, कहीं पर अटक रहा हूं वहां पे वैल्यू दे दो.